Now let's get into numbers 20 through 11 for the best albums of 2024. Charli XCX made 2024 a brat summer. The half-organic marketing of this album was great, and she even released a remix, Brat. But yeah, this has her nominated in several Grammy categories this year. And I've long viewed Charli XCX as being one of the most underrated pop artists, since probably her Charli album in 2019. That one did it for me, and she's been super consistent since. But Brat has taken her career and reputation to a different level. Good for Charli. I've got Brat at 20. The Last Dinner Party is a Baroque pop indie art rock band from London who really impressed me with this debut album, Prelude to Ecstasy, which I thought should have been Grammy nominated for Best Alternative Music Album, but it wasn't. They could have also been nominated for Best New Artist. But this Prelude to Ecstasy album is pretty captivating. Powerful performances. I've got it at 19. My homie recommended this cool duo, the Heavy Heavies album, One of a Kind. And this thing is just brimming with 70s pop and soft rock. The performances are pretty high energy, but very pleasant and easy to listen to. This is the Heavy Heavies' second album, and I haven't gone back and checked out their first album yet, but I've got this one at number 18. Gillian Welch's Woodland is named after the Nashville studio that it was recorded in. Gillian Welch is one of the very best, and maybe one of the most underrated, folk and bluegrass artists. She doesn't drop a ton of albums, but when she does, the results are beautiful. This collab with guitarist, songwriter, producer David Rawlings is no exception. I enjoyed this thing from front to back, so I'm putting Woodland at 17. Cindy Lee's Diamond Jubilee is one of the most enigmatic releases of the year. It wasn't released on streaming services. You couldn't purchase a hard copy of the album. No vinyl, no CD. It was just a YouTube link to the entire album. The album's over 2 hours long, and it initially didn't even come with a track list, which encourages a total playthrough experience. This kind of sparked a cult following of the album, and then you started seeing more and more favorable reviews, to where it's astonishingly Pitchfork's #1 album of 2024. Yeah, crazy. This is very psychedelic. The production features a lot of washed out and blurred sounds, but I don't know if I would call it lo-fi. The buzzword in recent years for this type of thing is hypnagogic pop. But yeah, I've had to listen to this album in chunks and fully enjoy certain sections of it. It feels like one very long dream that you end up remembering bits and pieces of. I think time will tell how good this album really is or isn't. But right now, I've got Cindy Lee's Diamond Jubilee at 16. Lupe Fiasco Samurai is at number 15. It was a lean but mean album from one of rap's strongest and most creative lyricists. Lupe's got a complicated reputation, with everything from haters to former fans who've been estranged to still devoted fans who see him as one of the absolute GOATs. But this album is a strong addition to his catalog. I feel like this is doing for Lupe what the Kanye-produced Daytona did for Pusha T, especially when you consider the album's short runtime. Billie Eilish's Hit Me Hard and Soft actually grew on me over 3 listens. It definitely has more club material than her other two, but the dark and moody ballads are still outstanding where they do appear. Some really good songwriting too. I'm putting this at 14. At 13, this is Lorelei with Box for Buddy, Box for Star. This is Lorelei is a moniker for Nate Amon, one half of the experimental, indie, art pop, synth pop duo Water From Your Eyes, and he delivered this surprisingly good solo project, very different from his group sound. This is much poppier and less electronic reliant. It has almost no skippable tracks. Big surprise for me. And at number 12, Adrian Lenker with Bright Future. This is an intimate, often somber listen. It's not as fully produced instrumentally as her Big Thief albums, and I'm not sure yet if I like it more than her Songs album from 2020, but her folky singer-songwriting is consistently good throughout this album. I've got it at 12. This was Father John Misty's first album, which had songwriting that I would consider special since his 2017 classic, Pure Comedy. This one is certainly my favorite Father John Misty album since Pure Comedy, and that's not to knock God's Favorite Customer or Chloe in the Next 20th Century. Both of those albums had some good high points, but this Mahash Mashana album is concise with only 8 pretty long songs without one miss as I see it. At least after my first 3 listens, Father John Misty was able to vary up his sound and reintroduces himself as one of the best and most prescient singer-songwriters of the generation. That album opener was also epic. Felt like it could be an album opener and closer. But I've got Mahash Mashana at number 11.